and he held me, and then he put me back in the car. I had just gotten down from the car. He put me back into the car. And when I saw him walking away, I said, God, if my son were not here at this time, what would I do? God always brings the support you need at the time that you need it. So it was not easy. I mean, it's like your life has changed. I can't find the words to describe it, yes. Yeah. But it's just like you've been hit by a tidal wave, and it's one wave after the other. It's one thing after the other. That's what happens. Yeah.
But what about the other children? You know, because you have other children.
Yes, I do. The second one has not handled it well, even up till now. Yes. She hasn't handled it well at all. At a point, she refused to believe her dad was dead. Even when she saw him being buried, she still refused to believe. And then the third one is she's trying. She cries from time to time. She misses her dad. She's the last one. And because she spoke to him a few times that day before he collapsed. So she could not believe it, but it's happened. We know it has happened. And we talk about him. We still, I mean, it's like he's still around. Yeah. We laugh about his jokes.
That's what I want to do. You sometimes get into that denial that sometimes you feel like, you know, oh, you will see him. It's not, or you wish, you feel like it's not, feeling.
You feel like it's not true. And then you tell yourself you are being foolish because you know he's been buried. Yeah. It's just a way of, you can't sort of part with him. So we talk about him, about his jokes, and he used to crack a lot of jokes to make us laugh. But there are times when maybe you are playing some music and it brings him, the memories back so strong, and then you start to cry. But we go through it one day at a time. Yes,
one day at a time. We'll be back. Reverend, before I come to the main question I want to ask you, do the men who also lose their wives go through same?
Well, not from experience, but I believe...
of course not from experience, from counseling.
Yes, they do. I mean, pain and loss, it doesn't matter whether... There's no feminine pain and no male pain. Pain and loss, as we have said already, depends on the quality of the relationship. If it was good, if it was meaningful, if the person meant so much to you, you shared, laughs, etc., then it's like something has been taken out of you. And dealing with it, whether it's man or woman, it's all the same to me, yes. I have known men who have lost their wives who think they can't get remarried again. And they still have difficulty dealing with it, especially with the men. The challenge is coping with upbringing of the children. Depending on how young they are, then it becomes a whole challenge, and then, they have to deal with that.
Yeah. Now, this angle, we'll do a program that will detail the abuses that some of these widows are made to go through and all that. But apart from the personal pain that they go through, the widowhood rise, the seizing of properties, the fighting over the accusation, what kind of effect does it have on these women?
Well, I would say it's terrible, and I hope that this program will be one of the things that will challenge us as a society, or challenge our society to rethink the way we treat widows. Widows are very dear to God's heart. If you read the Bible says that if you afflict the fatherless and the widow, and they cry out to me, I will hear their cry, and when I hear their cry, I will kill you, and so that your wives will become widows and your sons will become fatherless. That's the scripture. And so there are three categories of people that are very important and dear to God's heart in the scripture: the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. And he gave instruction to the Israelites, the society then, to be careful how they dealt with them so that they would not have a painful heart. Oftentimes, people come on the scene and they are thinking, well, you killed our brother, especially if he was a breadwinner. Especially if the woman didn't have good relationships with the extended family, especially if they were not in agreement that their son marry her in the first place. And this has continued throughout the years, then the first thing is that, well, you have killed her, you have succeeded. And then we know that traditionally we have certain rights that are against the basic rights of individuals and human beings as enshrined by any body you can find on this earth, and I think our constitution as well. So you find that people come and they are not thinking about anything, they are thinking only about property, they are thinking only about what they can get, they are not thinking about the pain, the loss, they are thinking about what did he leave, which is mine. Fortunately, with the passage of certain laws like the intestate succession law and other things, it has brought some of these things down a little bit. But I think the difficult part is when the woman doesn't have support from her side, and then the man's side, maybe because she comes from a very small family, or maybe she was the only child, and so on, and her people are not near. Perhaps they're from another region, very far, and they can't be here that often. They all live in Accra, and the man's family is closer here. The kind of things, I would say they add much more pain to the loss and the pain that the woman and the children may be feeling. And this is one thing that all of us have a stake in.
Right.
If it was being done to my daughter, if it was being done to my sister, how would I feel? Let's think in that way.
Auntie Grace.
Yes, I think
Did you go through widowhood right?
Yes, I did. My situation is a little bit different because I was having stepchildren who were living with me
Okay.
before my husband passed away.
Okay.
So immediately that he passed away, excuse me to say, the children are different mothers. This group contacted their mother, the other group went to their mother, and they all became one against me and add themselves to the family. So as Pastor just said, maybe I was here alone and I don't have enough people around me. It wasn't easy. There, I went back and knelt against my pastors and the elders for counseling and the Lord to come in. Because when it happened like that, as Pastor already said, because of the properties, whether the man has a property or not, the family that are afar think there's something there that you have to get closer to the children and know whatever he has so that they also come in.
And they won't find out whether you are the one who brought it in or is together that you brought it in. It's for the man.
No, so far as is there, they won't find out. It's my brothers. I think in the scripture that we always say that man is the head of the house, man is the head. So people think it's only the head who can have a heart on. Maybe the knee can also do something, but maybe it's only the head.
Yeah.
That's I may say our African mentality that people think always because he is the head of the house. So whatever is there is the head that is carrying it.
Yeah.
We won't find
That's a good analysis here.
Yeah.
Everybody
the
thinks
perception has always been that the man is the breadwinner.
Yeah. So
the man,
everything he brings
he brings everything in and that sort of thing, and she's only there to enjoy. But as she rightly said, times have changed and trends are changing. You have a lot of career women, you have a lot of business women, and they are really making the bucks, and they are helping the husbands put up the homes or buy the things and stuff like that. You know.
That aside, even if the woman isn't making money, she's home taking care of the children so they don't go wayward.
And that's a
If you were
valuable
to get
contribution.
somebody to take care of the children, help with their homework, bathe them, teach them to behave properly, teach them to pray, and they turn out right, how much would you pay the person? How much would you pay a month for that kind of service? And the woman is home doing it free. You don't say that she's at home, she's not working. She stays at home and she doesn't work. That is
so
work.
the things are for my son.
It is
or
the
for my
most
brother.
valuable work anybody can render to society, because if the children turn out right, society is the one that benefits the most.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it's something that brings a problem behind the man's death.
Yeah.
And even if you were at home as a housewife, before this thing happened, then it's better you pack away yourself. because you are not working. So the children there with you know that this glass belongs to my daddy.
Yeah.
A daddy came back from work, he was carrying this on that. But on my side, I stayed home for a while and started working.
Yeah.
So I helped a lot.
Yeah.
But you can't believe it that even for the years back, my personal experience,
Yeah.
those who were young, recognized what their daddy brought to the house. And just after the burial of their father, this belongs to my daddy, his daddy who bought this, his daddy who brought that. And as I'm sitting in front of you, they make sure they took pen and paper and took inventory with all those things that belongs to the man that is for their daddy. So the family came in, and I started experience my widow, that I have to think twice, and
does it worsen the pain?
it worsens the pains, because you have been there for a while, or for all those years, helping the man. The man will never tell his children, is Grace who comes in with this, or is she who helped me for this.
Yeah.
They just say the things sitting or lying there. So when it comes like that, it's the man who will say something or talk on your behalf, and he has passed away.
Yeah.
So it worsens the pains.
Yeah.
Whom are you going to tell your problem?
Yeah.
Who will agree with you, or who will understand you? So it worsens the pains.
Yeah. You know,
Just-
I
just a
don't want
quick one.
Grace to comment on this particular one, but you know, Reverend, if from what I'm getting, if you're not careful, you may even start hating the man or having some bitterness against the man.
Yes, of course.
Yes. yes.
you-
But just a quick one before then. That is to say that it's important, once this has come in, we need to make the point that, especially as married couples, it's important we don't differentiate.
Yeah.
This is what I am bringing in, and this is what she is bringing in. That the concept of oneness, which God had in mind from the Garden of Eden, should constantly